Greetings shipmates and welcome to another episode of Let's Make Mistakes. This morning we are taking the Tier 4 Hosho CV out for a spin. This is post 0.8.0.1 and whilst I don't believe anything really changed for the lower tier CVs, it's still worth taking a look at them and seeing what people are talking about with the anemic damage that they are doing. We will start as per usual. Well, I say as per usual, but my preference is to take out some rocket planes first, so we can have a little scout around and potentially strike a DD early on. Maybe force them to change their mind, change their course and move away. Now, as this is a standard battle game, I'm going to leave the CV right where it is for the minute, until we can ascertain what side their force is pushing down, and then we will look to move the CV either backwards if we're suppressed, or upwards with the fleet. Where we've got the best push going on across the map. We shall see what we end up with. So we spotted some Langley planes up ahead of us. Fighters drops off, and not an option because at tier 4 it's not down here on my control panel, so my aerial support is limited with what I can do with regards to helping my teammates. We haven't found anything yet. You'll notice the speed is a steady 100 knots at cruising. If I increase my boost, I can increase my output to 135 knots. And if I slow the plane down, I can get it down to 82 knots. And our first spot is the Caledon. Now, while we could launch a rocket attack on him nice and early, my preference is to find these DDs first. Now, we do have some AA to deal with, so we're going to just gently move our plane away from that. You don't get much down here, but the Caledon's little pew-pews are still spitting out some DPS and some clouds, some flat clouds. We need to avoid those because they will damage the aircraft regardless. Still no sign of... Right, there's one DD. We found the Clemson and we found the 101. Right, for an example, I'm going to turn the plane round now and we're going to go for a strike attack on that G101. So now I'm using my boost to get on target as quick as I can. I'm struggling to lead him actually, he's moving quite quickly. And we've got 3k, which isn't bad, but now we've got to dodge some flak. So I'm slowing down, I'm being evasive, because flak is trying to predict where you go. So by slowing your speed, changing course, you've got a better chance of avoiding the flak clouds. As you see those tracers go past me, you know they're going to explode into smoke, so that's the time to turn around. So they've now lost their Clemson. The Dursky's up there with Sakazi. The 101 is knocking around here. This is going to be tight for an attack run, but we're going to give it a try. See if we can just strike him across the nose. And we only got 726. So you'll notice there my 2 attack runs have been completed already, and that's the end. But the good news is we've still got some more rockets on deck ready to take off. And as that 101 is pushing into this space here, towards our base, that's our primary objective to begin with. We need to take care of this DD and stop his press. Our Varyag and Captain Obvious is pushing away from the Svetlana, but he is taking fire on the way. And then all we have is this Varyag just to below us, the Wyoming and the Nassau just to my north position. So we're going to hold here. Look at the CV position. I'm just going to reposition slightly to there, because it looks like from that angle I can either run up the map here or I can turn and come back this way if we can clear this flank. The 101's hiding in behind the Svetlana, which is going to make this challenging. But we are going to run on him. I mean, we've got the rockets. The Varyag's having a spot of issue, but we do have the broadside of that Svetlana, so we can go for a rocket attack. Torpedoes will be better at this point. But let's just keep an eye on proceedings for a second. This could be interesting. Yeah, let's have a run in. See if we can go... if they were going to hit each other, it would have been nice. We could have done 2 for the price of 1. You see the damage strike from the side there. We landed no rockets. It's got to be a broadside hit on a DD in rocket planes. Going in... See, I'm having to dodge flak again, by the way, so I'm just... You notice the green bar here, boosting, speed's changing, I'm regulating it, changing course, increasing speed, slowing down, changing course, just to move away from the tracers, just to move away from the flak. Now, see, again, he's keeping his angle favourable to us, so let's go for the slightly bigger target. See, I dodge the flak on the way in, and it throws my aiming reticle out a little bit off the bow, and we have managed to land a fire on the Svetlana. Now, while he's pushing away, we're going to take up a torpedo bomber, because we might as well look at all the different ordnance and armaments. But our role here is going to be, I believe, to stop this press on our base. Now my detection range of the CV is quite low, so I'm going to turn her around again and start bringing her back over this way, so I can get my ordnance into the fight a bit faster than having to fly, because you can see that if I boost I am coming to 126 knots, and if I release my boost my cruising speed will drop off quite significantly. I think that's going to come down to around 100, 108. Still dropping. Still dropping. I'm not actually touching the controls at the moment, so my cruising speed is 90 knots. And my stall run speed I can get down to 72. Now the question is, why do you want to slow down that run? Now you might want to slow down your speed on your bombing run just to help line up your torpedoes. Right, I think we're going to have to... Let's just have a little think about this. Right, this dreadnought is pushing around this way, so it looks like he's going to be our target. Because trying to torpedo a DD is not the easiest thing in the world to do. Dreadnought has done some damage there, so let's start our run. So the reticles start tightening up on the way down on the run, become quite small. As long as we release before the yellow line, the torpedo will arm in time. I'm not sure how that's going to look for speed. I don't normally bother looking back, but in this case we will. Yeah, we missed. So we need to give a lot more lead. Increase our speed, turn around, try to not to drive through them flat clouds. But you notice we've only got 3 torpedoes. So I'm going to slow the plane down again to give my reticle a chance to tighten up on my bomb run. We're going to allow for more lead. And I'm going to accelerate off hard, bank out to the left, slow my speed again, slow to the right. But we're not coming under AA fire this time. And that's interesting, that torpedo seems to have gone under him. There's no way it missed his bow, is there? That could take further study, because that shouldn't happen. Right, I'm going to drop that one there. Now let's just stay and watch this time. That one gets a big hit, and not a huge amount of damage, but just enough. But now that dreadnought is moving towards me, so let's get some more torpedoes up. He's not quite in our detection range yet, but he's getting there. So let's start the CV turning around. Got a cool target on that dreadnought, because his guns will make a big mess of me. So where are we? We're 8 minutes into the game. We're 10,000 damage. We've not managed to strike on him yet, and now this terrain is... He's actually going to block my attack run. Although he might try to trade with him now, which could be interesting. Oh, that's naff my run up, isn't it? Yeah, he's trying to ram him. So that's the end of that. Now if you don't, it's a good example, if you don't fulfill the attack run, the plane will just peel off and it will rejoin the rest of the air squadron. We can try and strike the DD just to show you how hard this actually is. So I'm going to get down on the target nice and early. Need to try and catch him while he's turning like he is now. If he turns back in now, then he's not going to take that torpedo. Have a little look. Yeah, there we go. Very hard to hit a manoeuvring DD. That's what your rocket planes are for. To be honest, it's quite hard to hit anything, even manoeuvring cruisers. You need to kind of wait for that turn to be happening. Again, this isn't a favourable attack angle, but we just want to get down on the target quick while he's still in mid-turn, so his rudder's not going to come back round in time for him to turn the ship around before he eats a torpedo. And we managed to land one on target for 4,500 damage, 5,000 maybe. I'm going to slow the planes right down because I want to get on another attack run. The reticle's gone funny there, but you won't see that. Oh no, you will actually, we're recording this live. So this game isn't a replay, this one I'm actually playing live and running commentary at the same time. So that's off his nose. That's going to be into his side, into his torpedo belt. I'll use that in the loosest possible term. And he's taken, what have we done? We're up to 20,000 damage. I want to get back over here now and just play with this 101 a little bit. Now that threat's been moved away, we can start bringing the CV back into play. Maybe we'll head up around here. That should give us an optimal range to attack and to defend if we need to. Ideally, I'd like to get up here and help the fleet, but we've got some ships in the north that aren't really providing much at the moment. They're not seemingly coming under any attack because there's no ships left other than this 101 down here because the St. Louis just exploded. And there's the Langley over there as well. Do you know what? Let's get aggressive. Let's get the CV right over here. Right, now we're going to start trying to do this 101. See if we can get rid of him. Fortunately, the Varyag's finished him off. Now you're going to see something interesting. CV play, or CV on CV and lethargic damage. Again, you'll notice I've started the bombing run there. As long as you don't fulfill the bombing run by pressing the left mouse button again and dropping your ordnance off, the planes will just return back to the group, and as you can see there, I'm fully armed and ready to go again. Now what I'm hoping is, I'm looking at where them torpedoes are going, because I want the Caledon's broadside for a rocket attack. I want to hit his superstructure, and then afterwards we're going to have the long game of trying to sink a CV. We're going to go for a little bit of flak here. I'm going to accept that. That's not a bad hit actually. That's not a bad hit, but that's a full broadside rocket hit. We're going to come back and try and finish the job off. Once we get rid of him, that's all the guns out of the game, we can start closing down the CVs. Ha! And 363 that time. Same profile on the run, but not the same damage output. I believe guns are going to finish him off, so I'm not going to worry too much. Let's bring some AP bombs. I believe they're AP on the Hosho. Is it going to show me in flight? They're AP higher up. I'm not entirely sure. I'll check in a minute afterwards. We'll go back and have a look at the specifications of the ship in port. They are AP dive bombers. And we've got a long way to get involved in this action here. I'm using my engine boost. You see the green bar running down here, so I'm holding down the W key to increase the speed of this squadron, just to try and get to the Langley as quick as humanly possible, because I want to try and land some damage on him before the Varyag just blows him into oblivion. The Caledon's not really too much of a concern. I don't think it's worth committing anything to him. I'm expecting to see him deleted shortly. The other Langley still seems to be stationary at the top, so we might not see a huge amount more in this game. Oh my, look at that. He detonated. The Langley detonated a Dursky. Now, because of the ellipsis profile here, we want to try and... I want a lateral run. By lateral, I want to come in from the bow or come in from the stern. Now, his defensive AA fighter is up, which is no great surprise. I'm going to wait for that to circle around the ship, and then I'm going to start my bomb run. See, we're under heavy flak, so we're going to run this in quick. Try and bring this crosshair to bear in the middle of his flight deck where we've still got some planes left. Drop that straight down the middle for our whopping 600 damage to over penetrations on an AP bomb. We're going to take off and try and get some torpedo bombers over now. Let's see what we end up with. I doubt we're even going to get in there, to be honest. I think he'll probably be gone before we arrive. If we don't, maybe we'll go for the Caledon. There's still plenty of time left on the clock. My CV's still moving into range. In fact, you could probably argue the CV's moving into harm's way because of the Caledon, because he's now coming back towards me. What is the Langley doing right now? You'll notice we haven't had any floods yet. We've had 3 torpedoes, we've had no floods. I'm going to run a torpedo down here, so the Varyag's actually in trouble. I'm going to hit him, and then I'm going to go straight onto that Caledon, because if we can get that, then that's going to remove an imminent threat to the ship as well. If we get them out of here, that's going to be a different story. There we go, we've lost those. Torpedoes hit the CV, but he's still alive. Let's go for the Caledon next, and we're going to do that with rockets. And then we'll come back for the Langley. We've got a lot more health than he has. And if he does come to strike me, that's quite good actually. That gives us a good show of how lethargic the gameplay is for CV on CV gameplay. And that's why these battle timers down here are running to nearly 20 minutes a game now. Because it takes 20 minutes for the CVs to actually kill each other. So we got 2 squadrons up. We're going to have 2 rocket runs on him. He's starting to turn broadside. AA guns are firing, so we're just going to commit all the way into the run, straight off his nose. And that's a goner. Now what we really like is to get a fire on the CV at least. Higher up the tiers this works out better. I have to get the ordnance away because I was under fire, and yes, we have managed to get a fire. We forced that damaged comm. We can take off short with our torpedoes. What I mean by short is I don't believe... Oh, it is a full flight. I stand corrected. It's 3 in the flight. I thought it was 4. So at the moment on my deck I've got none available, no service. If that's a 2 and I launch, then I'm going to get 2 planes up before for my squadron instead of the 3. So this is the last ship in the game for us. I'm not sure what he's doing right now, but I'm going the other way now. I'm going for a full speed run on him. His smokestacks are still going backwards, he's still reversing. No, he's trying to go forwards now, so we're going to just drop that there. His fighter consumables down, and we have managed to delete the Langley, and that's the end of the game. Now, we was always doing something that game. We was constantly had planes going up. We was always on the way to something. Planes are slow. They were from this era. I accept that. That's fine. Our damage output, 32,520. 5 torpedo hits. 19 rocket hits. 2 AP bombs. And we got 32,000 damage for that. Our team score puts us around mid-table, which isn't too unsurprising for a CV game down here. Our detailed report for our damage outputs where things are more interesting. So bombs, we did 600, torpedoes, 19,000, and our rockets were 11,000. So a bit RNG based, but the rockets, as we saw, one volley was quite large, 1,700 on the... Was that our first rocket run? No, it won't show because we did 2, didn't we? And that's what you end up with. Just a quick look in port, because it's tier 4, I put like a 6-point captain on it, which is about the average for most people. But tier 4 if you haven't 6 to 10 points. So we can have a quick look at the CV build here for the Hosho. So at my 6 points I decided to take improved engine boost, so we could boost for longer because the planes are so slow. Improved engines just to make them faster because they are so slow. And I took the survivability expert to increase the HP for the aircraft as well. It's not a lot, but it is something. The general alternative is aircraft armour, but with AA being so low, it's not going to make that much difference at tier 4. It would if we was up tiered and we'd been put in a tier 6 game. It would have been a bit more challenging for us. And on to the build of the Hosho. My Hosho's build is very, very simple. You have 2 choices here. You've got air groups modifications 1, auxiliary armaments 1. We take air groups modifications 1, and then on here you've even take damage control or your aircraft engines. Again, we've taken aircraft engines because that's what we want to reinforce. There's not a lot of choice here other than your B hull. Your consumables are automatic. You have no fighter offensive and nothing you can set there for your consumables. So that's it. That is tier 4 Hosho in the current update patch. We will look at doing the Langley next. For now, until we sync again, I've been Captain Bravadoh. Please like and subscribe and comment below. Thank you for watching.